What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90, and we are back once again for some more Premier League predictions. Before we get started, please do just drop a like on the video down below, as the last two Premier League videos have hit 500 likes, which is just absolutely insane. I want to give a massive shout out to Spat Morina, who left their predictions on the previous video and correctly predicted Wolves to beat Arsenal, which was a bang-on prediction, Newcastle to beat Crystal Palace, and Leeds to beat Everton. Those were some of their predictions that were really, really good, and I thought they predicted enough upsets to get a shout out in this video. So if you want to be featured in the next episode of the Premier League predictions, then as always, please do leave your predictions down in the comments below. And real quick, of course, because the support on the channel has been so insane lately, we've blasted past 12,000 subscribers. This video is once again sponsored by the guys over at OneFootball. If you don't know what it is, then you are missing out, because OneFootball is a free app on iOS and Android that has you completely covered for everything you need, whether that's football news, football transfer updates, injury news. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, once again, still not great news there. You can follow and favourite the team that you support, the competitions that you're particularly invested in, and get up-to-date alerts on everything that is going on in the world of football. They've got a really clean interface, a really easy-to-use app, and I've seen some really positive comments from you lot down in the comments below regarding it. So massive shout-out to you lot for supporting the channel and making this collaboration with OneFootball possible, and thank you, OneFootball, for once again sponsoring this video and keeping the channel running. Now, I could take a look back at my predictions. There were some pretty good ones. I mean, Manchester City to win at half-time, full-time, with a -1 handicap and to nil was odds of 2.5, and that happened, so that was pretty cool. But the standout prediction from me was Manchester United to win 3-2 against Southampton and Bruno Fernandes to score any time. And I specifically didn't say from a penalty or United to get a penalty because of Fernandes' threat from open play. And not only that, at half-time in the Southampton game, I suggested that Cavani needed to come on because he is a striker that can get goals that other strikers at Manchester United can't, because his movement and his runs are impeccable, and he did exactly that. So that is quite possibly the best prediction I've ever made on this channel. So hopefully we can continue that run moving on into week 11. And not to mention, we have Aston Villa coming up against Newcastle first of all, and with the West Ham Aston Villa game, I predicted a 2-2 draw, and it very, very nearly was a 2-2 draw, but somehow Aston Villa got a little bit fisted right at the end. So anyway, Aston Villa versus Newcastle. Newcastle coming off of a fantastic late win against Crystal Palace. That looked like a bore draw. Like, that looked like it was going to be 0-0. It looked like it was going to be another correct score prediction from me. My tip was under 2.5 goals, so we were still okay there. But I think Newcastle are going to get on the score sheet again. Once you come off a 2-0 win, odds are you're going to continue some sort of goal scoring form. The likes of Wilson, he's looking good. And Aston Villa, they will feel hard done by, having not got a point against West Ham in the previous fixture. So I think they're going to come back with a point to prove, because Aston Villa played very well against West Ham, and I do think they did deserve something. So as a result, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Aston Villa, but my tip is going to be both teams to score at 1.66. Next up, it is Burnley up against Everton, and Burnley once again losing 5-0 to Manchester City at the Etihad, and Everton a shock loss to Leeds. Leeds taking their attacking form from the Arsenal game and continuing to batter Everton with shots, and actually finally converting one of them. So a good performance from Leeds, and Everton will definitely want to bounce back, and I think they can do so against a Burnley side that is really, really struggling. One of the 4 teams really fighting to not be relegated from the Premier League. So you could go for an Everton win as a tip. That's pretty good value, but I've sort of went safer here. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 away win to Everton, which is pretty convincing to be fair. But in case it's a 0-0 or a 1-1 or something like that, my tip is going to be Everton double chance and under 3.5 goals. So Everton could win 2-1. It could be a 1-1 draw. It could be a 0-0. Everton could win 1 or 2-0. And that is at 1.61. So I think that's a little bit safer. Everton should definitely beat Burnley, but if they do, I don't see them beating them like 4-0 to make this tip not happen. Now, the next fixture, it's Manchester City up against Fulham, and Manchester City are going to win this game. I think they're starting to find their goal-scoring boots, and I'm going to go for a 4-1 win to Manchester City, and I was very, very tempted to make the tip Manchester City and both teams to score. That is something to be considered. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to push the boat out. My original tip was going to be Manchester City half-time and full-time and to win by 2 or more goals, so a -1 handicap at 1.61. But I backed Fulham to score against Leicester in the previous week. To be fair, I didn't expect Fulham to win, but I've often said that I think Fulham will score, even if I don't think they'll win, and they have been scoring some goals. They are capable. So you know what? I'm going to say Manchester City win and both teams to score. That was my original prediction, but then I looked at the meetings between City and Fulham, and the last like 5 have all been, I think, a Manchester City win to 0. But I think Fulham are going to turn up and score a goal. So I'll change my tip to Manchester City to win and both teams to score. Next up, we have West Ham up against Manchester United, and this is going to be a very, very tough game to predict. I'm still not sure if Antonio is back for West Ham. If he is, I think it would be a very, very close game. I think Antonio is a really, really good player. It's a shame the whole Edison Cavani potential ban situation due to essentially the, I guess, the cultural differences. If you don't know, Cavani basically posted an Instagram story thanking a fan for commenting and complimenting him on his performance, but he used what is in this country essentially a derogatory racial slur, but over in his country it's meant as a term of endearment. So it's kind of like a language barrier, but like a cultural sort of thing. So education there is definitely needed, as Cavani is an English Premier League player. I'm not sure. I don't know where I stand as to whether or not he deserves a ban, but Martial might not be back for this one because he did leave training very early, and he might still be ill by this point. So I hope for Cavani's sake that he gets to start, because I've been saying it all season. He's been on the bench. I've been saying, yes, he is a bit older, but he is still a top striker, and his performance against Southampton just proved that. And I think if Cavani starts and Fernandes starts, which of course Fernandes will, Man United will score a lot more goals. So I think Man United are going to win this game. I'm going to give them a 2-1 away win, but my tip, in case there is some sort of upset, West Ham have been known to upset Manchester United in the past, my tip is going to be both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at evens, odds of 2. I think that's really, really good. I hope for Cavani's sake he starts, because he's very, very exciting to watch. I know he's getting back to full fitness from, you know, the international break and beforehand, but I do really rate him as a player. Now, next up, it is Chelsea up against Leeds, which promises to be a very, very good game. Now, Chelsea have been keeping clean sheets for fun. Their defence looks ridiculously good, because not only is their backline solid, their defensive midfield is also very, very solid, and their attacking players are also good too. I think Chelsea were unlucky not to beat Tottenham. My tip was Chelsea to beat Tottenham, and although it was offside, rightfully so, Werner did score a fantastic goal against Tottenham, and I think Chelsea are going to win this game, but I don't think their clean sheet streak will continue, on the basis that Leeds have been looking very, very threatening. Not necessarily clinical. They have a lot of shots. Their accuracy might not be the best, but they always will have chances, and I think Chelsea are finally going to leak a goal, but ultimately in vain. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Chelsea, but just in case they do grab that clean sheet and make it a 2-0 win, because I see them scoring more than one goal, my tip is going to be, once again, the old faithful, Chelsea to win and over 1.5 goals at 1.75. Now, next up, it is West Brom against Crystal Palace. I think this is going to be a very close game. Perhaps not the most exciting game to watch. I'm going to go for a low scoring. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I was tempted to tip West Brom double chance. I was also tempted to tip both teams to score, both having better value than the tip I've decided on, and it could end 0-0, it could end 1-0, but I'm just going to go for over 1.5 goals at 1.4. In fact, you know what? Let's push the boat out. This could easily end 0-0, and if it does, I want a piece of that. So I'm going to change it to West Brom double chance at 1.5. Coming up after that, we have Sheffield United up against Leicester. I think this is going to be quite a close game. Leicester shock defeat to Fulham, but fortunately for Leicester, they're up against a Sheffield United side who have lost 9 of their 10 Premier League games. I'm going to give Sheffield United a goal. I'm not too sure why, to be honest. I suppose you could say Leicester look a little bit defensively frail after losing 3-0 to a weakened Liverpool side and then losing to a struggling Fulham side. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win to Leicester, which has been a result between the two teams in the past. Last time, I think Leicester played at Bramall Lane. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Leicester, and my tip is going to be Leicester to win at evens at 2.0, because I think that's very, very good value. And Leicester, they have to bounce back after, you know, a pretty poor run of form, all things considered. Next up, it is the North London derby. Tottenham up against Arsenal. Tottenham flying high, and Arsenal free fall. It really is. It's a stark contrast between the two teams at the moment. The quality does really show, and Arsenal look like a Europa League side, and Tottenham look like a Champions League side, despite them actually being in the Europa League. So I'm actually going to tip Tottenham to win. As an Arsenal fan, it pains me to say that, but I'm going to say a 2-1 win to Arsenal. I was tempted to go for a 3-1, but on the basis that Arsenal games have been lower scoring, and Tottenham did just draw 0-0 with Chelsea, I think a North London derby might be very tense. It's going to be very physical, and sometimes that can lead to fewer goals. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Tottenham, and my tip, in case they get the old 2-0 win, I'm going to go for Tottenham win and over 1.5 goals at 2.4. I mean, that value is phenomenal. Tottenham to win outright is 1.9. So I might even be tempted to place a bet on that, purely because if I bet and Tottenham win, I win the bet, and if Tottenham don't win, Arsenal have at least got something, and as an Arsenal fan, that would make me feel good. Next up, it is Liverpool up against Wolves, and this one was a very, very tough one for me to predict. Wolves did well to beat a very lackluster Arsenal side, winning 2-1, but Raul Jimenez, of course, out with a shock injury, a skull fracture. When I saw him led there on the ground, I was very, very concerned, and it was clearly more than just a small knock or a little injury. I really hope Jimenez has a quick recovery. It's been said that after his surgery he's comfortable, but of course he won't be playing this game. So I think Liverpool are going to win this game. It's at Anfield. You can't look past it. I know Atalanta beat Liverpool, but that's just a different situation. I'm going to go for a relatively low scoring 2-0 win to Liverpool, but I'm not even confident enough to back the result. I don't know. Wolves could turn up. They could do something special. Obviously Liverpool didn't get the win against Brighton. I'm going to go for my tip as Liverpool to score 2 or more goals. They could lose 3-2, but Liverpool to score 2 or more goals at 1.53. That was actually my tip when Liverpool lost 7-2 to Aston Villa. I tipped Liverpool to score 2 or more goals, so although Liverpool got beaten by 5 goals, the tip still came in. Finally, it is Brighton up against Southampton. Brighton, they're doing well. They deserved the draw, at least, against Liverpool. I think Liverpool were unlucky with their offside goals. They were rightly called offside, and it was a penalty, in my opinion. And I think a draw was a fair result, because Brighton had their fair share of chances. They missed a penalty, which is pretty shocking, to be honest. A lot of teams are missing penalties these days, but I suppose the more penalties there are in the league because of VAR, the more penalties are going to get missed, and that implies, it makes it look like more penalties are being missed, but in actuality, there's just more penalties overall. So I think this is going to be another high-scoring game. I said it last week. I predicted Man United to beat Southampton 3-2. I think it's going to be another high-scoring game. I'm going to give Southampton another couple of goals, because with their set-piece delivery from James Ward-Prowse, it's very strange. When that free kick, before it was taken from Ward-Prowse, you just knew it was going in. Even with David De Gea in goal, and even with Man United's ball, you just knew Ward-Prowse was going to bury it. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, and my tip is going to be both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at 2.25. Cracking value this week. So that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like on it. Let's try and break 500 likes once again. Massive shout out to OneFootball, of course, for sponsoring this video and sponsoring the channel. They're really helping things run over here, and it really does mean a lot to me that you guys are enjoying the app, supporting me, and supporting me down in the comments below with your predictions. So that is going to do it from me, and I will see you in the next video very soon.